Yeah, you didn't think this was coming? I hope you studied. The test is worth 50 points and is due at the end of the month. Whoever scores the highest gets to become the first master patron. I don't even know what that means. You can't even buy that tier yet, but when it's available, it's going to be worth like 50 bucks. This isn't a joke, by the way. The link to the test is in the description. And your test score will be null and void if I catch any of you using AI in the essay section. I don't use AI for these videos, and you fuckers better not use AI either. Here's some direct continuity from last episode where Peridot's toothpaste robot smashed through the ceiling. And I said this a few years ago in Crystal Sins, but what is this board doing? Genuinely, as far as I can tell, it's totally pointless. Here's a rare instance of Lion just kinda existing in an episode without serving the plot. Absolute background character energy. That's just me though. If you ever see me in public at like Walmart or something, I'm probably just a background NPC. Okay, check this out. This is some overanalysis. Kitchen Calamity on the board and on the instruction has kitchen spelled with a C, but on the back of the card that says KC. Either that's an error or Pearl saying that the rules make no sense is an indication that these cards are from a different game. Perhaps a different, albeit similarly food-themed game? Kitchen Catastrophe, maybe?
The sponge in your sink is covered in mold, but I can still eat it, right?
No, that means you lose 2 turns.
That's baloney!
This whole scene is a vibe. I love board games, but I hate learning new board games. Getting dropped in the deep end and not knowing the rules kind of stuff. Sometimes I end up winning and I'm like, oh, okay. I play tabletop RPGs and I study those books for over a month before I end up playing. I still haven't played more than 1 session of Call of Cthulhu. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, Steven Universe. Yeah, this board game is whack. Yeah, this is one of the coolest dice rollers I've seen. I don't know how it works, but I want one now. However, it changes colors throughout the scene.
Yeah, double sunnies! I did it! I win!
I gotta complain about board game continuity again, and I'm not gonna make the same point I made in Giant Woman. No, this is some right before your eyes type continuity. Steven moves his piece and it actually just straight up disappears when he sets it down. That's not even continuity, that's just an oversight by some goofy animator.
Well played.
More Garnet head pats. You know, I have no idea how to feel about it at this point. There are cases, like right now, that it's just kind of her way of showing affection to Steven, like in the intro. And then there are cases like the last episode where it's kind of demeaning. I don't know, I'm divided internally about it. Steven's got a bunch of knockoff alternate universe board games.
I've got Poly,
That's Monopoly,
Toppler,
Topple,
Conquerors of Eldermore,
Settlers of Catan,
Not That Sorry,
Sorry,
Don't Wake Father Figure,
Don't Wake Daddy,
and Non-Invasive Operation.
and Operation.
I also have checkers if you want to take turns. Sea Spire statue.
There's a short little reprise of the music from Cheeseburger Backpack here. Everything in this show gets its own theme song, and I'm here for it.
You did your best on that mission, and that's what counts.
Get down, she has a fucking gun!
But the Sea Spire, it was a special important gem place.
Yeah, what was that sea spire for? It's some sort of temple, right? What were the ancient gems worshipping anyway? I mean the moon goddess, obviously, but who the fuck's the moon goddess? There are no gods and goddesses in gem lore. I've heard people say the moon goddess is supposed to be one of the diamonds, but I'm questioning if those people's eyes actually function. You think the gems would know what their diamonds look like if that was supposed to be one of them. Getting into fan fiction or headcanon territory, but I still think that there's a race of aliens in the show more ancient than the gems that created the diamonds. Maybe the goddess in question is one of those, holding one of the first gems. If somehow I'm right when Lars of the Stars comes out, you guys owe me a fucking iced coffee or something, I don't know.
If the spire had been crucial, we wouldn't have used it as a test for you. It's fine, really.
Test? What do you mean, test?
Anyone else think that this was a retcon for some reason? I don't know, I can't prove it, but Cheeseburger Backpack was one of those episodes that was made when the show had all those growing pains and it didn't quite know what direction it wanted to go. I think that episode was written while a lot of the later stories in the show were more blurry and not really detailed. None of that's a problem in this episode, it'll become more of a problem when they bring up the red eye again.
Now, just beyond here are 3 chambers designed by each of us to simulate the challenges of a mission.
Oh shit, a 3-room dungeon? Now you have my attention. Any of you dungeon masters out there should know all about the 3-room dungeon. I could improv a 3-room dungeon right now. Now a 5-room dungeon, that would be a cool episode.
Should you succeed, you'll unlock the final door, where we will be waiting for you.
No tangible prize? Not even a Patreon reward?
Steven, This won't be easy. Be careful in there.
Right. I won't let you down this time.
This hits way different when you already know that the tests are rigged so he can't fail. Like, there's no way to know on a first watch until it's revealed. Maybe Garnet knew that he'd find out, maybe she didn't, but it kind of seems disrespectful. Like, the whole idea of an unfailable test seems disrespectful. This is a neat use of the temple. I said last episode that the warp space was the second pocket dimension that we get to see inside, but it's actually the third. I forgot about the temple. The temple is something entirely different though. It's also entirely unique to any other magical location in the show. It sucks that we spend almost no time focusing on it, relatively. In this wide shot of the room, it looks like the path is floating in a dark void, but in the next couple shots, there's brick walls. I only noticed this because I was going to ask why was it echoing, but there are walls, and I may just be stupid. I like the Indiana Jones jungle dungeon aesthetic Amethyst went with. The vines that look like her whips are a nice touch. But isn't the giant stone ball a little bit cliche at this point? Next time I see someone running from a giant stone ball in a dungeon, I'm shutting off the TV. Unless it's real life, then I'm taking my phone out and recording that shit. I will say this dungeon is less Dungeons & Dragons dungeon and more indie video game dungeon. Actually, more like a theme park attraction, almost a Diet Coke escape room. There's nothing to fight here. What kind of dungeon doesn't have any monsters? To avoid driving myself to the brink of stroking out, I'm just gonna say that the floor continuity in this room is fucked and move on.
Oh, a music puzzle. Must be Pearl's room. Only she would make me think.
How can you be sure, though? There isn't any giant Pearl statue in here. I mean, it's a puzzle, very Pearl-coded, sure, and the colors match her aesthetic, but like, giant Pearl statue, come on. This show almost never does slow motion, and now I can see why. This looks really fucking bad. I had comments that I should bring back the best animation segment that I tried to do earlier in the show, and in my defense, most episodes don't have any animation that stands out enough for me to mention. But what if I did a worst animation segment? It's probably not going to be every episode. I'm going to forget, I guarantee it.
Looks like Garnet turned up the heat. Nice one, Steven.
Very weird line read here. Is this a case of Zach Callison's voice being too low now to do a quiet read like this? It really sounds like he was straining to get there and he just didn't quite make it. There's nothing to really comment on about Garnet's room other than, yeah, it could have probably killed Steven if it was allowed to kill Steven. It's a little bit reminiscent of the Pyramid Dungeon from Serious Steven with the lava and the spikes. This is really hard to catch. This Sen's Fortress axe is swinging so fast that you have to pause to even tell that it's passing through his body. There's only 3 frames where you can even see that. Trust me, I counted. Kind of a weird animation choice.
It didn't even matter!
Okay, dungeon design critique. You know how much I love talking about dungeon design. Having the pattern not matter is like an extra large throbbing middle finger to Steven. Like, Pearl definitely thinks he's an idiot if he can't figure that out. A better dungeon designer would have just made the wrong tiles light up red or something. This room sucks. This whole dungeon sucks, but this room extra sucks. What if this was the one thing that wasn't rigged and it just flattened him? I would have genuinely busted out laughing. It probably would have made the episode better, honestly. I don't know if any of you have played the Stanley Parable, but I kind of get those vibes from this scene. The distant echoing music is eerie, but not creepy.
We're bad at this.
Every parent ever at some point? Seriously, has any parent in the world ever thought to themselves, yeah, I fucking rock at this? Probably not, and if they did, they're probably on their 4th kid and already know what they're doing.
But he needs us to show him how to be a gem.
Steven is not just a gem. There has never been anything or anyone like Steven. We don't know what he needs.
If you've seen this show before, you already know this, but on a first watch, this is kind of earth-shattering information. Steven's like a magical anomaly. The gems don't know what they're dealing with. Greg doesn't know what he's dealing with. It does dip a little bit into a certain kind of writing that's easy to fuck up, where the main character is a super special chosen one. I'll get better chances to talk about that in the future, so I'll hold on to that rant.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Steven!
Yeah! Congrats, little man!
This is a reference to Neon Genesis Evangelion, where the cast gets to take turns saying congratulations one by one to Shinji for, like, conquering his depression or something. I don't know, man, that show was fucking weird. Cool, but weird.
How did it go?
I can't believe you guys. That was so insane!
I kinda don't get this ending. It's sweet, yes, and it's the first instance of Steven really taking a mature route for the benefit of other characters. But, like, was this the correct way to react? Would it have been a better ending if he came up to them and said, "Hey guys, I want you to stop putting training wheels on everything I do"? I guess the episode is too short to have a heartfelt, serious conversation between him and the gems, and, you know, that kind of stuff doesn't happen in a day. And that wouldn't make for good television, I think. Having characters say what they're feeling instead of expressing it is really lazy. And this show does a good job of that. There are a lot of episodes where characters are feeling very strong emotions, and never does that character say that they're feeling sad or angry or happy. I guess my point being that I can't tell what Steven is feeling here. Is he bitter that he still has training wheels, or is he happy that the gems took the time to do all this just for him? Other than confusing me at the end, not as much as Evangelion, this episode was a weird one to analyze. Steven is mostly alone in these blank rooms. It's not really an episode made to be analyzed. The only thing I could speculate about is the temple, but it's pretty much what you see is what you get. I do think this episode is good, but it's pretty forgettable, especially right after Peridot and Stevani. There's some good character stuff in here, so I wouldn't stoop to calling it filler. And if you want to see new episodes of Gemology a week before they premiere on YouTube, you can subscribe to my Patreon for just a couple bucks. The link is in the description, as always. Or you can follow the other link and score the highest on the test. Shoutouts to my journeyman patrons, Henri Wickers, Bananas Are Violet, Boomblorp, Gage M, Cinderant, Scala LD, and the Tamara. Also shoutouts to this apprentice patron. Next episode is the most sometimes bullshit, sometimes pointless power in all of media.
Bonus ducks!